In this edition, I'm going to break down and predict the upcoming fight on the UFC on Fox 7 card between Daniel Cormier and Frank Mir. What I'm going to do in this video, I'm just going to break down both fighters and do my predictions. So I'll start with Daniel Cormier. Now, Daniel Cormier is undefeated mixed martial arts. He's still very much new to the game of mixed martial arts, and he is really picked up and run with this sport. He is evolved fast. He's continuing to grow as a mixed martial artist, and I think the one thing people always say is that Cormier hasn't really faced anybody well. You know, defeating Bigfoot Silva in the first round in just dominant fashion. Obviously, Bigfoot Silva is now getting a title shot against Cain Velasquez. He's very much a top 5 heavyweight. Defeating Josh Barnett, 5 rounds of pure dominance. I mean, Cormier has faced a couple of good fighters, and this fight with Frank Mir, we'll see how he stands in the UFC and what division he does want to fight in. So what Cormier brings to the table, I mean, there's wrestlers in mixed martial arts that grasp the aspect of striking, and there are others that don't. And Daniel Cormier very much does have a developing striking game, and it has a lot of promise too. I'd say he's still very raw on the feet, but he is such an athlete. He is so explosive and fast. He's had a huge reach disadvantage in this fight. He has a 71-inch reach, but he's fought undersized his entire career at heavyweight. He's short and stocky. He's not an easy guy to get down to the ground. He's very compact, and he is strong. He's got a lot of power. He's finished 5 fights via knockout. He's just got some serious power in his hands, and he can really let go, and he's got incredible speed. I mean, that's really the thing. You fight undersized at heavyweight, you have a huge speed advantage, and he's going to have an enormous speed advantage in this fight against Frank Mir. So, I mean, you know, I'm not here to say that, Daniel Cormier is the better striker in this fight, but I think he will fare better on his feet than Frank Mir because of his athleticism, his hand speed, and his ability to get inside a fighter's reach. I mean, Frank Mir is not explosive. Frank Mir does not have great hand speed. He does have formidable boxing, good karate background, but, you know, I think the way Daniel Cormier fights him, he's fought inside. He's found ways to get inside a fighter's reach. He has a great chin. The guy's never been finished before. Has it been tested before? I mean, we haven't seen him in a complete total slugfest, but taking close to, I think it was, 60, 70 significant strikes against Josh Barnett does say that, you know, he can take the strikes. He took a couple big hits from Barnett in that fight, but I mean, he kept trucking forward. And I really do think he will have the better of the exchanges on the feet, given that he is so athletic, so explosive, and does have that knockout power. And, you know, I really very much think that I'd give him the slight edge on the feet. As far as the ground, I mean, just an unbelievable wrestler. Daniel Cormier is one of the top 5 wrestlers in mixed martial arts. I have him like number 2, number 3 on my list. It's unbelievable what the guy can do. He can slam guys. I mean, his freestyle wrestling background in the Olympics, that's his foundation. And he can toss guys down. He can slam them, double, single leg takedown. I mean, we saw what he did to Bigfoot Silva. I mean, just literally caught a leg kick, tripped the leg, and wanted nothing to do with Bigfoot Silva's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game. And that's the thing, is Daniel Cormier actually does have pretty good submission defense. We saw Josh Barnett lock his leg up a couple times in the fight, pursuing him down to the ground, but Cormier was able to spin out of it. It's the fact that he has those short, stocky legs. I mean, he's not an easy guy to really dominate on the ground. I mean, we haven't seen him been put in a dangerous situation or on his back in any particular fight. But, you know, I don't see him submitting Frank Mir. I mean, I think the only real risk in this fight is the fact that Daniel Cormier can be submitted by Frank Mir if he is to pursue him down to the ground. So where I see Daniel Cormier being successful in this fight, I think there's no mystery to this. He may have great wrestling, but the fact that I do see him having a slight edge on the feet, that he is faster, he does have the knockout power, and can pick fighters apart with his speed and explosiveness and implement his power, I think keep this fight standing. I'd really try and pick my spots. I'd try and almost maybe counter-strike or get inside of Mir's strikes, and I'd try and land the big strikes. I'd really try and chop him down. And, you know, if you're to rock Frank Mir, I'd go for the kill. I mean, that's really how I see it. I mean, if he wants to wrestle, he's just got to be... I play it like the Bigfoot Silva fight. I mean, maybe try and catch the leg kick and not pursue down to the ground. But I mean, it's a big risk. Don't bring it down to where Frank Mir is very much an amazing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. So I keep it standing, and I try and work for the TKO or knockout. That's ultimately how I see Daniel Cormier being successful in this fight. So Frank Mir. Now, in regards to the stand-up game, is that he's very much a black belt in karate. I don't know. Many people do know that. He does have a karate background, very much does work boxing into his striking game. And Frank Mir does have good power. He's a big guy. He will be the bigger fighter in this fight. And I think that's the one thing, though. Maybe Frank Mir will weigh in lighter, because that's the one problem he's always had in his stand-up, is that he does not have explosive speed. He does not have great footwork. He cannot really pop forward in the pocket. He gets picked apart on his feet. Not in every single fight, but when he faces better strikers, I mean, he just does not win the better of the exchanges. So he can put together some pretty solid combinations. He does have good power in his hands. I mean, if he connects full against Daniel Cormier. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he could really test the chin of Cormier. Frank Mir was very much a wrestler in his high school days. He does not have the wrestling advantage in this fight. I mean, you know, you're going to say that he's going to go and get the submission, he's going to get Cormier down the ground. I think it's going to be if Cormier pursues him, because, I mean, we saw Frank Mir try to get JDS down the ground. JDS is obviously very squirmy, has good takedown defense, but, you know, I mean, I don't see Frank Mir getting Cormier down in the dominant position, unless for some reason he can reverse Cormier when Cormier pursues him down to the ground. I do not see him maybe pulling guard or anything like that. It's got to be if Cormier takes the fight there. Cormier will dictate where this fight takes place. But, you know, if Cormier does want to take him down, I don't see him struggling to get Mir down. But what Mir does bring to the table is just an amazing black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Just countless submissions over Brock Lesnar. I mean, the Nogueira submissions, I mean, just one of his defining moments in his career. I mean, to be totally wobbled and rocked and out of it, and to be able to reverse and get the submission victory over one of the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the game right now. But I'd really see it has to be off of his back, and he's more than capable of doing so. It could be a triangle, however you want to put it. But I mean, maybe he could lock one of those in if Cormier is to pursue him down. Where do I see Frank Mir being successful? I mean, you know, try and win the best of the exchanges on the feet. He could very much catch Cormier coming in. He's got to have active hands. He's got to be at least trying to move, if not maybe counter strike. But I mean, he's not fast enough, really. I mean, unless for some reason Cormier keeps his hands down, gets wobbled, I mean, I don't see Frank Mir being successful on his feet. This fight has to get down to the ground, and maybe if Cormier does pursue this down to the ground, he's got to be active, and that's something that Frank Mir very much is off of his back, and he can definitely lock Cormier into submission. So I'd say the only way I could see him being successful in this fight, if it is to go down to the ground, he's got to win this fight via submission. He's got to finish this fight. I just don't see him winning this fight if it stays standing. If Cormier does get some takedowns, he's got to be relentless and know that he has to win this by submission. I think it's got to be the same mentality went into the JDS fight, but there's got to be a sense of urgency. And if it does to remain standing, I mean, you know, if Cormier is to get close, get a hold of him, maybe try and pull guard, but I mean, he's got to win this fight via submission. So where my prediction lies in this fight, and you know, I do like Frank Mir. I think his submissions are amazing. I think he's an entertaining fighter to watch, especially when he's on the ground. But you know, I'm a big believer in Daniel Cormier. I really do much believe the hype. I think this guy's only going to continue to get better. Whatever division he pursues, whether it's heavyweight, light heavyweight, I personally would love to see him and Cain Velasquez fight, but that's not on the cards. But I really think this is Daniel Cormier's fight. I think Daniel Cormier is going to win the exchanges on the feet. If he does pursue it down the ground, he's just got to be at least aware that Frank Mir does have a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game. But I think it's ultimately going to be like the Bigfoot Silva fight, where he's going to keep this one standing, may catch a couple leg kicks from Mir, dump him down, but not pursue it down to the ground. He's going to win the exchanges on the feet. He's going to get inside of Mir's strikes, be that much faster than him. He's going to win this fight via TKO or knockout, whether it's the first or second round. But I think Cormier is going to make quick work of Frank Mir. And, you know, it could be entertaining. I mean, I don't want to doubt Mir, but, you know, I just can't deny, you just can't deny Daniel Cormier's ability and what he brings to the table. So I'm going to take Daniel Cormier defeating Frank Mir on the UFC on Fox 7 card via TKO or knockout. And that's why for this edition. It's Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.